Sorry guys, I'm delayed today. I think there were many things that has reason for that. Sorry for that. Uh, I think we'll just give me a couple of minutes. I'll be just joined. Am I audible first of all? Yeah, yeah. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll be on track. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah. So I think yesterday I've given you an exercise of making your virtual machine skill set work. Was it working for you? Yeah, yeah. But did you know how it worked? What were the underlying concepts? Why my stuff was not working? If it worked for you, it should have worked for me also, right? Okay, fine. Don't worry about it. Let us try to speak the underlying concepts of it. Okay. Because the mistake which we have done was we were trying to you were trying to follow me or a documentation. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Okay. You are trying to follow the documentation, but there are certain things which we still need to understand. Okay. So let me use logos because we all know how to create a virtual machine skill set. There is no debate on that, right? Yes or no? Is my assumption right? Okay. Now, Azure Load Balancer will have two important things. Okay, right? The first one is what is backend. What is backend? Okay. Let me use a legend. Backend. And backend of a load balancer can be a virtual machine, can be a Azure VM or VMs, or it could be Azure virtual machine scale set. Am I clear on this? So Azure Load Balancer can have a backend, can have a backend. Okay. Now, right, right. Now there are two more things to understand over here. One is you have a virtual machine scale set which you have created, and while you are creating a virtual machine scale set, okay. So for example, let me go to yesterday's notes. Direct DevOps.blog. Okay, these are all challenges. Yeah. If I go to the classroom notes yesterday, right? Let me see if I have. Yeah. So in the networking section, while I was creating a virtual machine skill set, I was either using a load balancer or an application gateway. Okay. So when I select that, what I am trying to do is, I am trying to create a backend for a load balancer. If you look into the options that were basically present over here, select a load balancer and select a balance pool. Am I clear on this? So you are trying to select a load balancer to a backend, and backend is your Azure virtual machine skill set. Now in the virtual machine skill set, we either increase machines or decrease machines based out of some rules. Wonderful, right? Okay. Now what happens is, generally, okay, your users, let me take users icon. We'll have users. Okay. Users will make a request, right? Either directly or indirectly to a load balancer. And this request must be forwarded. Okay. So let me use a different color for that. So users will request, and that request should be forwarded to Azure Virtual Machine skill set, to one of the Azure Virtual Machines. So let me update that in the legend again. Okay. User requests. Right. Okay. Am I clear on this? So this is called as load balancing rules. This is called as what? Load balancing rules. Okay. What will your users request? And here when users request, basically it should basically forward it to the Azure virtual machine. Now when it forwards a request to the Azure virtual machine, should it forward to the healthy machine or should it forward to any machine? What do you think is a better way of doing it? Should it forward the request to any machine in the virtual machine skill set, or any machine which is working in the Azure machine skill set? Any machine, even if it is down, if it is shutting down, is that okay? Working machine. So how will load balancer know that? Okay. How will load balancer know that? Okay. Okay, let me use Azure VM logo. Azure VM skill set icon. Okay. Right. How will Azure know that each of this machine is healthy? Because each load balancer needs to know, yes or no. It should forward the request only to the healthy machine. For that, what Azure tries to do is, it tries to do load balancer. Okay. Okay. Now, to every load balancer, okay, what Azure tries to do is, or Azure load balancer tries to do is, it tries to do something called as health probe. Okay. This health probe should be successful for the request to be forwarded. For this load balancing rules to be worked, health probe should be successful. Am I clear on this? What are those orange lines? They are health probes. Clear so far? Are you understanding the terms? We have a backend, we have Azure Virtual Machine Scale Set, and then we have health probes. Health probes are health checks to find out whether your virtual machine or an instance inside a Azure Virtual Machine Scale Set is healthier or not. And apart from all of this, okay, we have, okay, we can make, okay, special ports of your system. Special ports of your system. NAT or inbound NAT. Special ports of your system open with the respect of this inbound NAT. You can make it open or not. Inbound is basically it will be something like this. Here in load balancer you will try to tell that user will make a request on 80 port to the load balancer and that will be forwarded to the 80 port on the virtual machine or 8080 port on the virtual machine. Generally over here we will have one rule which says that user will make a request to 50,000 port which will be forwarded to the 22nd port of your virtual machine or one machine inside your virtual machine scale set. Okay, this if you want you can enable it, you can remove it. This is for your administrative purposes. Okay, so in Azure for load balancing we have two kinds of rules. One is NAT rule, the other one is load balancer. Your customer should be using load balancer and this is your users and this is your admin. Am I clear on this? Okay. So Azure has Azure is coming up with a better way for that admin, but still we have something called as inbound NAT for that. Now can you all get into your Azure virtual machine scale set? Do you understand the concepts now? Yesterday we were trying to do this without a conceptual understanding of what this whole stuff is all about. Whenever you are creating a virtual machine scale set, you will have a load balancer, you have virtual machine scale set, you will have a health probe, you will have a backend, you will have an inbound NAT and all of that. Yeah. So first what I would like to do is I'll try to store this image so that you are familiar with the terms first. VMSS contd2.md. Okay. Okay. Components to be understood in virtual machine scale sets. In or around virtual machine scales. Right. The first thing which we need to understand is backend pool. Backend pool. What is a backend pool? Backend pool to a load balancer is the VMs or the whole virtual machine scale set which has to be load balanced. Next, health probe. Load balancer keeps track of healthy machines in virtual machine scale set using health probes. Okay. Health probes are of two types. Okay. One is TCP probe. The other one is HTTP probe. There is one more, but it's okay. We generally don't use that. Fine. And then we have load balancing rules. Okay. Load balancing rules. Load balancing rules, okay, are used to load balance users' request to load balancer. Inbound NAT is used to get into the other ports of the virtual machine scale set. Okay. Now let me store this image. Okay. And please open your virtual machine scale set if you have it. Good. Right. Save. Right. Now, first let me write this. Preview. // images / azvm 70.png. Okay guys, so let us get into this. I have a virtual machine scale set which is called as Qt app. Okay. So in this Qt app, okay, right. Okay, let me not put images. You just go through this video or try to understand. Whatever you are seeing as a public IP address, this is not IP address of your virtual machines. It is the IP address of your load balancer. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, it will show you the health information. Anyway, when we speak about administration operations, we'll try to understand how to basically do this health checks and all of that stuff. And are you seeing instances? Okay, these instances will tell how many machines are running. Okay, and you can select any machine. Okay, if you can restart the machine, if you want to re-image, you can re-image the machine and all of that stuff. Okay, and this is a networking, which port should be open and which port should not be, and scaling. See, if you want to manually scale, then probably you can use this option, or if you want to customize your scale, remember we have written scale based on a metric. Okay, right? So if you select this, while we were creating that, we had only one option of CPU utilization. Now if you see, you have many other parameters. It's not only CPU utilization. While creating, it will give you CPU utilization because that is mostly widely used value. But if you want to rely on some other metrics, you are good to go on. So for example, you want to say that I don't want to rely on CPU utilization, but rather I want to do it on something else. Okay. So rather than percentage CPU, I want to rely on some network flows. So I'll be selecting outbound flows, right? Or inbound flows. Or I would want to rely on my hard disk, right? So network disk, so are using disk read operations or write operations per second. So you can rely on any of these metrics. Okay. But I'll still stick to my what do you call initial criteria. Okay. But at any moment, if you want to change, you can obviously change by using this. Okay. And then storage. This speaks about what is the disk which you are using. Okay. Yeah. This speaks about an individual disk, and this speaks about the individual operating system. Okay. Right. So if you want to, while it is running, you can't do much, but it tries to tell you about the basic operations that are enabled in this. Okay. Are you seeing automatic OS upgrades are not enabled, right? And then any security settings, size settings, extensions. Okay. So you can go on and on. There are a whole lot of things which you can basically do, right? So we can add extensions just like how we add to our individual virtual machine, right? This is all looking good. Now, parallelly, what I'll also do is I'll open a load balancer. Okay, because you cannot see virtual machine in isolation. Virtual machine, when looked in along around with load balancer, then makes a lot of sense, or application gateway for that matter. Now let me go to load balancer. Okay, so I have a load balancer over here, and now in this load balancer, are you seeing front end IP configuration? Okay, so this is the IP configuration of your load balancer. This is the IP configuration of your load balancer, and I've already spoken about what backend pools are. Ashok, I'll answer that question at the last. Okay, right. So are you seeing health probes? Okay, so now let me add a new health probe. I want to add a health probe saying that. Okay, so let me add a health probe, which is uh, just for fun, which is based out of HTTP protocol. And whenever I ping slash info.php, I'll do that for every 5 seconds. Okay, if two pings fail, then it is not healthy. Then that means the two consecutively if it fails, then so if you see I've added one more health check. Okay, am I clear on this? Okay, you can add as many as you want, TCP, HTTP or HTTPS way of finding out whether your application is working or not. Now load balancing rules. Load balancing rules are how your users are going to access your application. My users are going to request load balancer on port 80. If it is secured on 443 port, and then forward it to the virtual machine scale set. And are you seeing inbound NAT rules? There is a NAT rule that is added. If you want, you can remove that. Okay, but if you keenly observe this, it will tell you something interesting. It is trying to tell that I have a custom rule, which is on protocol TCP. Okay, and then it says that whenever you access port 50,000, I'll be forwarding that to a port 22. I'll be forwarding that to a port 22. So, shall we try that? I'll basically go to git bash, and then I'll say SSH -p is to change the port, and then I am trying to tell 50,000, and then qt devops @ what is load balancer's public IP address? You can do this for your load balancer. Okay, 40.89.248.128, 40.89.248.128. Then if you see it is asking for password. Okay, you're all certain. right? So this machine is basically available. Okay, right? So if you remember, in this machine we have var www html info.php. If you remember, this is something which we have created in our image. Okay. So do you still have virtual machine scale sets? If you have that, okay, you can log in into virtual machine of the virtual machine scale sets using one of the inbound NAT rule. Okay. What is my inbound NAT rule trying to tell? My inbound NAT rule is trying to tell that, okay, whenever okay, whenever I select 50,000 port, it will be redirected to 22 port. 22 port is basically for logging in inside the virtual machines, right? So now log in into virtual machine using the following command. This is basically for the people who are new to Linux. Generally we use SSH username qt devops, okay, at the rate, okay, username at the rate load balancer IP address. But over here you have to give -p, okay, and whatever port which you are seeing over here. My port which I am seeing over here is 50,000, okay, right? So my example command would be ssh-p 50,000 qt devops, okay, is my username at the rate whatever I've typed 40.50.87.87.98. I don't remember, and I'm not in. If that should be fine. Now log in into this machine. Once you log in into this machine, execute a command called as execute a command called as stress. Now let's generate artificial CPU load using stress tool. In reality, your CPU stress will be increased when your users increased. But over here, I'm artificially increasing it. How I'm artificially increasing it? Okay. I'll try to paste this and then I'll try to tell that it is 100 minutes and -v. I'm pasting this command to you guys for the people who by any chance are doing. I'm pasting that in the chat message. If you're doing it right now, you can look into this. If you have deleted your virtual machine skill set, do it whenever you have time. So now let me click on this. That's it. Now log in into one more terminal of the same virtual machine. So that means that you have to use the same command, but this time on a different terminal. To have that difference, I am using PowerShell. It will be dead slow. Okay. It will be dead slow. The reason for that is, Okay, let me show you. Okay, now go to your virtual machine skill set and try to see what is happening with respect to your CPU. So your CPU utilization slowly increases. Okay, and okay, keep a watch on your instances as your CPU utilization increases. Okay, or you can remove this. It's okay. Watch CPU average on the virtual machine skill set overview. Because it will be dead slow, it might not even allow you connecting. Okay. Or sometimes it would happen, it would not happen depending on what is the CPU load, right? Because we are relying on percentage CPU, right? So this would definitely help us. Okay. You have to closely monitor this section. Okay. Right. Let me call it as 72. Okay. So average CPU utilization for the last 5 minutes is greater than 75%. That is what our metric is, right? So wait for that to happen. Oh, oh. First of all, my IP address is not correct over here. 4089 248 128. But it is not guaranteed, right? It would be dead slow. Yeah. See, it will generally your machine will not take this much time. And if you run HTOP, I'm not sure how many of you are able to see this clearly. This is like a task manager. Okay. So let me store this one also. Okay. Using HTOP. HTOP is like a task manager. Okay. The artificial load. Okay. On CPU inside the VM looks like this. Okay. And now slowly are you seeing? Here also average has moved up. Yeah. Between last time and now, are you seeing average have moved up? Right. So, and now basically let us look at instances. Okay. Still it has not met. Okay. You have to be patient. Wait for some more time. It has to be at least 5 minutes for this stuff to happen. Okay. Wait. You will get there. Why can't we disable inbound? Inbound NAT is little bit more protected. You can write protections around inbound NAT. But load balancer rule is much like you are opening it up for public. So, and you will never open 22 port for public, right? That's the reason I have shown you using inbound net. While creating the VM B1 size, it is not available in any region for free trial account. Can you please help it out? Ashok Kumar, I think that is a problem with Microsoft. I can't help it out to be very familiar, to be very accurate. One solution, one workaround to that is go and convert your account to pay as you go account. That is one option. The second option is write a mail to Microsoft. Okay. So to be very specific, even if I want to help, I can't help it out because that is something to do with the problem with Azure right now. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see, our CPU utilization is consistently at 100%. Are you seeing number of instances are growing? Yes or no, sir? Is that happening? Okay. As CPU load increases, virtual machines inside VM scale set increase. Right. Okay. Let us wait for the status of all of them, where the health probes of all of them are successful. Oh, what was my scaling limits? Did I put 1 to 10? Man, I should have put it as 1 to... Oh, man. All right. Let us see. Okay. Right, are you seeing? There are two machines running now. I have a load balancer and my load balancer has some IP address. Let me show you something interesting now. Now you use load balancer and info.php. Okay. So what is the host name? 10.0.1.4. Now 10.0.1.6. So if you see, as a user, I'm using the same IP address and every time, okay, my request might end up in a different machine. Okay. My request might end up in a different machine. There is nothing concrete over here. Okay. So it might, if you this time it has gone to 10.1.5. Okay. If you basically look at handler, it has gone to the virtual machine of 10.0.1.5. So not sure. Let me try to do that. Okay. I think I should have done better than that. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. So you can go with server name or server IP address, whatever that makes sense to you. Okay. Server address it makes more sense to me because server name is always fixed. Okay. Your next request. Okay. What was our last request to 1.5? Now you see the next request. It is sent to a different server altogether. That's the reason why I asked you to use PHP info. Alright. Are you seeing now? Oh, sorry. This time it is sent to a different server. Whereas my request which I am making to is to the same location. Okay. In the backend servers are changing and your users are not aware of it. Is this not what you wanted when you started this whole stuff? as the user's load increase, okay, I want the virtual machines to be increased, and when the load is decreased, I want the virtual machines to be killed. So now let me stop the load. I've stopped the load. I've used Control C. Now, okay, so what is the image number which I have? 76 and 77. Okay. Now, navigate to http:// load balancer IP address /info.php and refresh twice. Okay. So 76 and 77. Now, if you stop the, okay, what do you call artificial load, okay, virtual machine size will fall back to minimum. Will fall back to minimum. Okay, that is 1 in our case. Okay, am I clear on this? But we will not know which machine will be deleted. That is for sure. Okay. So it might delete the newly created machine, or it might delete the old machine. But as your CPU drops, okay, if you go and look at the overview again, okay, now if you observe this for some more time, your CPU utilization will come down. Okay, so once your CPU utilization comes down, then we said that whenever percentage CPU utilization, are you seeing it has come down? Percentage CPU utilization is less than 50% for a period of 5 minutes. Go ahead and delete your virtual machines. Now you just wait. This 4 number will come down to something very less. To something very less. It could turn down to 1, 2, depending on whatever your load is. So I am not increasing the machines and I am not decreasing the machines. As my CPU utilization of the scale set increases, the machines are increased, and as the scale set decreases, my machines are decreased. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of this virtual machine scale set. And whenever you are working on virtual machine scale sets, always remember that. Okay. So there are options. So for example, whenever you want basically to change anything in configuration, you have to go into configuration. Okay. And virtual machine scale sets we generally don't create manually. Okay. So I'll show you one more thing and then I'll go back to the questions. Okay. So yesterday I think I've given an Azure challenge. Okay. So if you see the OpenMRS virtual machine scale set there. Okay. So the user should be able to create this virtual machine scale set from some automation tool. For the people who learn DevOps also, they will be using Terraform. And for the people who learn only Azure, you might be using ARM template to create this. Okay. And this ARM template will be called from any of your CI/CD tools to basically do the deployment. Okay. We just know this part now. Okay. We know how to have a load balancer and how to have a virtual machine scale set. But going down the line, so if you see my same application, right? This is a medical record system. This application runs in Central US. This application is running in East US. Okay. And users will not directly send the request because load balancer can forward the request to the virtual machines or to the backend pool within the same region. So we have something in Azure which is called as Traffic Manager. Traffic Manager can forward the request to multiple regions. So users will send the request directly or indirectly to Traffic Manager, and Traffic Manager will forward the request to one of the load balancers. and load balancer will forward the request to the virtual machine scale sets. By the time you finish Azure, you should be able to automate this deployment. If you have started newly, you might not be able to do all. Yeah, you might not be able to do SQL also because you might not have learned, right? So, but at least I'm quite sure that we know this part now. We have a load balancer, and load balancer will be speaking to a virtual machine scale set. Going down the line, we will learn how to automate this. At least today we understand this conceptual. Okay, clear on this concept? Okay. Now, this I have given as a challenge to the people who have finished at least 45 days or 60 days of Azure. Okay. So, yeah, that is exactly what it is. Yeah. Are we clear on this now? Virtual machine scale set, why it was not working for me. Even if one rule is not configured correctly, virtual machine scale set will not work. Okay. Virtual machine scale set works with standard load balancers, not with basic load balancers. That was the reason why it was not working with the load balancer which I have created earlier. Right? You have to follow all the steps in accordance to whatever I have been trying to tell it to you. Am I clear on this, guys? Yeah. Are we starting networking from 23rd? No, sir. We will be starting database and we will be starting operations. We will be starting operations. How do you take backups? How do you do disaster recoveries? We will be doing that. Okay. Right. Okay. Right, sir. So from 23rd onwards, we will be getting into databases and basically once we finish those databases, then we will get into some of the administrative operations. You are supposed to take backups. You are supposed to monitor your applications. You are supposed to send email notifications. How are you going to do all of that? That is something which we'll be discussing for the next 3 weeks. Is there any boundary value in the load balancer that can handle? Yes, there are boundaries. If you are using custom AMIs, I think it is around 600. I don't remember the accurate number. But if you are using there is no boundary to load balancer. There is a boundary to virtual machine scale set. If you are using the predefined AMIs, then I think you can go till 1000 virtual machines scaled. Okay, load balancer as such will not have any restrictions. Okay. Will we be looking into ARM templates? We will be, sir. We will be looking into ARM templates and migration. There are two topics which set you aside from others. Okay. Can you speak about HTTPS and certificates in the load balancer in real production machines? Rehan, I'll do one thing since that is a problem that has nothing to do with Azure, AWS, or DevOps. I think I'll move that to Foundation, right? So because that is a common way of doing the things, right? Okay. My URL is not working. Go and look into your rules. I have just spoken about. There has to be your probe which goes correctly. Go and look into your probe first. And then next one, load balancing rules, right? And then the third one, is there any inbound NAT rule? Go and look into those three things. Even after that, if the thing is not working, go and raise an issue in the GitHub URL, and then your issue will be addressed. Rama, am I clear on that? Yes or no, sir? Are you aware of the GitHub URL which we have? Yeah. Yes, we can do that. We can do that. Okay, that is exactly what we will be speaking about 10 days for the next 3 weeks. How to troubleshoot any failure in Azure. Okay, sir. And one more important update for the next 3 weeks, right? Even though you are enrolled only for Azure, you are expected to attend DevOps classes also from next when 24th onwards. Okay, because I'm starting CI/CD and CI/CD is absolutely required, and CI/CD is absolutely required. Am I clear on that? So from Friday, you are expected to attend DevOps classes also, right? So where we will be starting CI/CD, and we require all of that because we have to understand Azure DevOps. Okay, how do we do DevOps on Azure, a Microsoft tool which is becoming more popular? So from 24th till I finish CI and CD, your class timings is just not 6:30 to 7:30. It is from 6:30 to 9, I think, approximately 8:45 or 9, because you have to attend 2 classes. Clear on that? That's how it is going to be. Yes. Yeah, you have to apply inbound rules, sir. Yes. Okay. But it is not required if you don't want to use the other ports. If you are if you are interested in only 80, if you don't apply inbound also, nothing is going to happen. Yeah. So are we all clear? From Friday onwards, you are expected to attend both Azure as well as DevOps classes. Okay. And the same thing will happen when I speak about Docker. Okay, guys, did we understood that? Okay, if anyone can acknowledge, I would be more than happy, because otherwise I think I'm speaking some Greek and Latin which for no one is making sense. Right? Yeah. Okay, sir. Which DevOps topic? We'll be starting from Git, sir. We'll be starting from Git. Version control systems. What are we going to discuss tomorrow in CI and CD? I said we'll be discussing Git. Git, not tomorrow, it is day after tomorrow, on 24th. From 24th onwards. Tomorrow you will not have a class. You will not have Azure class, and you will not have AWS class or DevOps class. From 24th onwards, your classes will continue, and we will be discussing on CI and CD. Right? Okay, guys. And I would recommend everyone in this classroom to attend DevOps, to go through DevOps essential videos which are already shared to you. If they are not shared, speak with Satish. Thank you. Tomorrow we will not have a class, sir. Tomorrow there is no class. Thanks. Yeah.